Hi, how are we doing? I'm Ben from EQL Networks and Security. So today we're going to be looking at PoE budget. So what exactly is a PoE budget? I guess PoE switches would generally have a budget of PoE allocated to them. So a PoE budget is the maximum amount of power the switch can actually provide. Have you ever had some cameras simply drop off the network and restart, or work fine during the day and then drop off at night? It's possible that you might not have had enough PoE budget. So let's take a look at some specs. So here we have a GSW 2620 VHP. I think I've got that right. If I haven't, it's going to be listed here. This is basically a 24 port, 30 watt per port LCD switch with a PoE budget of 330 watts. So each port is producing or capable of producing 30 watts per port. So I guess if you multiply that out by 24 ports, you should expect a budget of 720 watts, right? Well, this brings me to this point. It's not only just because the ports can actually power 30 watts per port, it doesn't mean that each port can actually do the 30 watts per port fully loaded. I hope you got that. Sounds a bit of a tongue twister, a little bit up and down, but I hope you got that. If not, we'll put some graphics up so you can actually see a bit more clear what we're talking about. So Georgie?
Hello, George here. Basically, Ben is saying that the PoE budget of a switch does not directly correlate to the power provided by each port. There is a common misconception that adding together the power produced by each port of a switch can determine its PoE budget. For the case of the FGSW 2022 VHP, this means that fully loading the switch with devices that require 32 watts of power is not possible, as the switch is limited by its 300 watt PoE budget.
There you go. So to determine how much PoE required, you will need to know the specs of your IP camera or PoE device. This can normally be found on a data sheet. For example, if we take a look at a high-lock camera, which I don't have, but it will magically appear right now. So here it is. The data sheet shows that it has a maximum power consumption of 7.5 watts. So if we load up this switch with 24 cameras and we multiply it out using 24 of these, it'll show 180 watts of PoE budget, meaning we're well under. However, if we start adding in some higher power consuming cameras like PTZs or motorized lens cameras, then we can start eating into that budget very quickly. There are now switches on the market that can actually accommodate up to 90 watts per port. Yes, that's right, 90 watts per port with a budget of 600 watts. If you have power-hungry devices such as these PTZs, you can now place them all on the one switch as opposed to running separate power cables or multiple switches on that location. This will save you time on materials and installations cost. I'll just point out that one of the great features of these Planet switches is its LCD display that it has on. It allows you to make small changes to the configuration, but more importantly, allows you to easily monitor your PoE budget by simply looking at that LCD screen. So next time you're designing a system, keep in mind your PoE budget and choose the appropriate PoE switch to suit. So that's it for this video. If you found this video informative, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and click on the bell to subscribe. This will allow you to get notified of our latest product reviews and tips designed to save you time. While you're at it, hit us up in the comment sections for any questions you may have. At EQL, we're always here to help and support your business.